But I want to welcome everybody to my channel, The Candy Shop. I am so excited. The Candy Shop. So this is my story time, The Candy Shop. Well, hello everybody and welcome to The Candy Shop. I'm Candace and I have two lovely ladies with me. I will allow them to introduce themselves. So I'll start with up at the top, Hannah.
Oh, I'm Hannah. Y'all used to seeing me by now. Hopefully.
I'm Siobhan, and I'm excited to be here to get these topics popping tonight. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so welcome everybody to Ladies Night. Make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe to The Candy Shop. We're going to jump right into it. It's a little serious today. I was tired though. It's a little serious. We're talking about topics I've already talked before on the show, but I wanted to revisit them because they're just as relevant now as they were before. So the first one that I'm going to talk about, let's see. I'm trying to think. All of them are kind of like heavy. We can talk about womanism.
We're going to get some more drink. Look.
We can talk about womanism versus feminism. And so, of course, with womanism, that it's basically a Black feminist movement. I wouldn't say it was feminism though, because it basically covers Black women and children. The feminist movement is more favored towards white women. Even though I know a lot of people mistake the two, they are two separate movements. So I'll start with you, Hannah. Or are you okay with going now? I was going to say, tell me what your thoughts are on womanism versus feminism and how it's relevant today.
Well, feminism is not for us of color. I'll say that. Even if we want to be a part, it wasn't made for us. When it was first discovered, we weren't even a part of it when they first introduced it. And it's crazy that it was brought to us. If I'm correct, I might be wrong. Forget her name, who first brought it out. Dang, I remember. But I feel like it's very important, especially now that we see everything going on. We see a lot that is happening to us as Black women. And I think like these movements need to be a little bit stronger because there's a lot happened to us and it's overlooked. Because it's happening to our Black men, then everybody's in a riot. But what's happening to our Black women, it's like everybody's clueless. They don't know what to say. They don't want to do. They don't want to be a part of it. So I feel like both of these need to be something that we need to try to come together and empower a little bit more.
I agree. Siobhan, what are your thoughts?
I definitely, just to piggyback on what Hannah was saying, I agree. Like, as you stated, feminism definitely our white counterparts, that's their main movement. A lot of Black women's issues, I don't think have ever been really been addressed by the feminism movement, just our general in general, as far as us being women, but Black women specifically, our issues have not been addressed by that movement. So it's kind of like where, we get it, but then I feel like the needs and the things that we have going on in our community specifically, I think they require a different approach, or like Hannah said, more attention, period.
I would definitely agree. And like with womanism, the reason why I definitely feel it's different than feminism, womanism not only focuses on just support of us, but also our culture. It's about our essence as well. And so this was a term that was first coined by, here go my kids, coined by Alice Walker. She wrote The Color Purple.
That's what it was. I could not think.
Yes. And so, that book focused on the Black woman's plight in America at that time. And so, a lot of Black men were offended by the movie. But I just felt like it wasn't about y'all. It was about Black women. And so a lot of times Black men get offended by it. And it's like now with womanism, sometimes people that are womanists, to other people, the perception is that we just hate Black men. And that's not the case. And you see, Hannah, in some of those groups that we were in, like the girls that are wominists are like attacked. And I feel like even some of your friends from Philly, like Courtney, Rolanda, those are wominists. And they at times in those groups, they were attacked because of their views, all because they were standing up for us as Black women. And so I just, it's a tough and tricky situation, because I don't feel like I'm denying my love for Black men by uplifting myself. I just feel like I'm putting myself first. So
I agree with you, because I feel like people always want to make things like a singular thing, but two things can be true at the same time. Like, I can still address Black women's issues and our necessary upliftment and still love and respect Black men. Like, the two don't have to be separate. I can do those both at the same time. And also, I feel like just because I might say that Black men need to, like, it's not about hating them, because I feel like no other race of women love Black men more than Black women do, regardless if they dog us out, put us down, say we're this, we're that, we too much of this, too much of that. Like, we are like super loyal, you know what I mean? And I feel like just it's not womanism. It's not saying that you hate them or whatever, this and that and the third, but that still doesn't mean that we can't shed light on issues where you feel like they need to do better at, or they need to improve upon, or they need to, adjust things to make things better in our communities. Like, that's pretty much what I feel like. It's just us asking for a different standard or a higher standard from the Black man. Not saying that you hate them at all.
Mm-hmm. Good evening, Kenny.
Hey, Kenny.
And that brings me to a thought. While you were talking, Siobhan, I was thinking about and talking to a friend of mine. He's always talking about, for many years it was, oh, Black men ain't ish and all this other stuff. And I just feel like, no, that's not. I told him, I said, it's the people you're hanging around. If you got people constantly saying that, you might need to update your circle, because that's not the consensus from all Black women. So they, for some reason, they're on this, it's a war between us right now. They're all on this Kevin Samuels tip. The the crazy ones are, I'm not going to say every man is following Kevin Samuels, because there are some sane men out there that can think for themselves and have the confidence enough to know what it takes to have a successful relationship and also be successful as a man. So no, I'm not bashing every man, but it's some of them out there, as we call them, dusties, that are
yep.
Thanks.
Yes.
Kevin Samuels. So, and I don't want to give too much credence. What is that the word? That's not what I was trying to say.
Or airtime to
airtime.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck does credence mean? My husband. I don't want to give too much airtime to him, because a lot of times his trolls will come on my videos. One of them recently was like, what did he say? He said, it's funny that a fat Black old lady would talk about them. I'm like, who's fat, Black, and old? He was like, you, Candy. And I was younger than this guy.
Wait, what? Not fat, Black, and old.
Oh, my God.
It's so easy for
disrespect.
Trolls. It's so easy for them to be disrespectful. It's funny to me now. Back then, I would take offense to it, but I'm like, these people, if they was in my face,
they would.
And then it's so crazy. No, not disrespecting nobody, mom. I'm not going there. But it be the ones talking trash about what they want and what they not. And their mom look like Silly from The Color Purple, and as big as a house, and talking about, I can't have nobody bigger than the size 2, and I can't have this and that. Well, your mom was a size 25, and you judging us? Like, get it together. Not at all.
And I want to talk about what Kenny just said. He said, it's hard for us men out here. No excuses, though, taking notes. So I will, and Bree said, hello, pretty ladies. So, hey, Bree. So I will agree with Kenny, but this is my thing about that, Kenny. I think sometimes as Black people, we separate ourselves. It's hard for Black men and it's hard for Black women. And I don't understand why we can't come together and work through the struggle that we are going through together. I don't think it's harder for Black men or harder for Black women. I think it's just hard for us as a people, period. And so I think that's what the problem is. We're so busy calling each other out on, oh, my struggle is deeper, my struggle is this, or and it's harder for this. Well, no, we all dealing with the same struggle, because yes, as women will say, oh, we have it harder because not only are we women, but we're Black women as well. And then Black men will say, well, the white man is intimidated by me. They don't want to see me succeed, so they're going to promote you before they promote me. Like, I've heard so many different arguments, but I feel like it's the same struggle on both sides. It's just different angles of it. So
I can say that too, because we could say the same thing, how they're saying like, oh, the white man hold me back. Listen, honey, there are few things on this earth as vicious as a middle-aged white woman in upper management. Can we get our corporate America folks out here to say amen? Like, we have to deal with white women. White women can be, woo, child. Everybody know about Karens and the whole lot. Like, dealing with those people on a everyday basis in corporate America or those types of situations, it's just as oppressive. Seriously.
Yeah, at times it can be. I definitely agree. I'll say this: in the corporate world, it's been easier for me to work under a white man versus a white woman at times, and it's been hard. It's been hard sometimes to work for a Black woman as well. And I'm a Black woman in leadership, and I try to be fair across the board, but like, bosses that I've had have not been fair. And so because of those experiences, I try to make sure that I'm not being like them. But yeah.
And God forbid we be attractive like we are and trying to move up in the company, and
it's real.
God forbid. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll say this though. I do think that I definitely agree with Candace when you said we need to put our struggle together. Because we are separated enough by other races. And if we came together as one race and realized that we're all going through this together, it might be a little bit better, or the load might be a little bit lighter for us to really deal with. But I feel like we are used to being separated because we were separated for so long before. We don't really know how to come together. But if we learn how to come together, it would be much better for us out here. And I mean, I can't even say if it will happen, because it's just years in history of no togetherness really. So I don't really know. I know it should change, but I can't really say it will, because it's just too many years of history that you can't really change at this point unless everyone kind of agrees. But the younger generation, they want some different stuff, so we never know at this point. We just gotta hope and pray.
Yes, that younger generation is very interesting. That right now they don't see color. I can use my son as an example. He doesn't even acknowledge the fact that he's Black half the time. So, and he laughs when I'll say, oh, the Black boy, Black girl. And as adults, and I don't even feel like I'm old school. I'm still young. I'm a millennial. So it's there, but I think once he gets to a certain age and he's reminded of that by society, he's going to acknowledge his color then. I've had those talks with him. And it's something that we can't get away from. And that's my thing with that. I see color, and I know everybody else does. So miss me with the whole you don't see
color thing. Yeah.
Because society says otherwise.
I don't even know where that I don't see color, or this one that bothers me too. Color doesn't matter. Well, if it doesn't matter, why is it on every job application? Why is it on everything important you need to fill out? They need to know your color and your race. If color didn't matter, then there wouldn't be a need for that on anything. But the fact that y'all specifically put that in there, then it matters to you. So just cut the BS and just be real. Just own it.
I agree.
At this point, just own it.
And they had like this, like some type of like diversity and inclusion type training. And it was actually really good. It wasn't boring. I thought it was going to be boring. They had this at my job, and they brought that exact phrase up, that they said that they don't support people saying, I don't see color, because what you don't realize when you say that is you're negating that person's experience as a person of color in America. So you're saying like you don't see it. It's kind of like, okay,
you don't see my struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you, blind?
Yeah, so that's definitely not a good phrase because, like you said, you're just denying everything that person has gone through in their life to say you don't see color. Um, and so I feel like I see color everywhere, and I know our white friends have their experiences as well. But I would never tell them that I don't see that they're white because I know their plight is definitely different than mine. So I want to highlight what Kennard said. He said, "You may not see color, but color sees you." Yes. So,
I like that.
so Hannah, Kennard.
Oh, Cosmo.
Yes, I don't know, Siobhan, you don't have a cocktail
I was
tonight, do
trying to
you?
sneak pour.
I do.
I was so under the camera.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we have our cocktails.
I have my little Cosmo.
Yes, I'm not drinking as much tonight because I was tired, so I have my water right here as well.
Yes.
So
I've had water all day. I was like, I'm pouring a cocktail. I'm going to drink. It's Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up to Hannah here shortly.
Yes.
But I agree with you said about it being an all-out war, because if y'all spend any time reading the comments on different posts and just seeing kind of like the attitude that like the generation under us have, or even even a lot of our generation in the millennial generation, it's like, it's crazy. It is an all out war. It's like they and I like, but I will say this though, a lot of times they're like the guys who will might come forward, Black women, or attack us in any way verbally, they'll they always have like them stupid like no picture accounts or a dumb picture. It's like, why you in the shadows though? You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking all this smack, all this junk in the shadows.
And when they attack us, have you noticed this is always in regards to what we look like versus what we're actually saying? They never attack what we're saying. They criticize us and say whatever don't make sense because of what we look like.
And you can't say nothing about them because they got a fake picture up. So it's like, okay,
trolling.
Yeah.
Well, somebody told me the other day, I was talking about the Derek Chauvin thing on my I have two Instagrams, but I was on my chef page, and I had put stuff in my story, and somebody literally comment was like, less politics, more cooking. Isn't that what you here for? I'm like, I'm here to be Black every day, all day. And I'm going to continue to be Black. And if I'm cooking, I'm going to be Black cooking, so I can discuss any topic I feel like. So then I went to try it. So then they read it and then they blocked me. Like, don't come for me ever. Yeah, I can cook and read. Don't play.
Yeah. So basically, like, trying to put you in your place as a woman.
When they were saying like, shut up and dribble, like, don't try to silence people for when they want to express themselves because you think you should put them in a certain category. We can be able to talk about anything we want, express any views that we choose, because I feel like freedom of speech is only for not nobody of color. Because the moment we say something, it's all out war. But anybody else say something, it's freedom of speech. Come on, miss me.
Exactly. But that's a good point she brought up, because a lot of times they'll throw that in our face. They'll be like, well, y'all wanted equality, so here y'all go. Y'all wanted this and that, so y'all wanted equal rights, so here y'all go. Like, when something negative or bad will happen to a Black woman, or say a Black woman who might be in an interracial relationship, something bad happened to her, oh, well, that's what y'all get. Or it's they always want to throw up feminism or womanism in our face when something negative happens, or if we want a man to pay for meals or pay for dates. Nah, y'all want to be equal, so that's what y'all get. That's what y'all want. So I hate that too.
Yeah, but you gonna pay for my date?
You definitely paying for my date.
You definitely paying for it.
Period. It's not up for discussion.
Pull the card out.
Yes.
Well, going back to the womanism versus feminism, of course, I consider myself a womanist. I'm all about Black woman culture and uplifting myself. I have no problem with anybody else, but I like things for me. Bree said, a girl tried to shade me today. People will say anything behind a computer. Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Keyboard gangsters.
Yes, that's
for the fingers at its finest.
I wish one day we can see these people like in real life. Like, I want you to catch me because I stay ready. So.
Yes. We know, Candace. We know.
I wish a lot of the red pill dudes, like I feel like a lot of them, I wish I could run into any of them in person because I'm like, y'all will be buying drinks, y'all will be offering this, that, and the third. Y'all claim y'all wouldn't, but stop with the
They
lies.
be the main ones.
Yes.
That's why they're red pill. Those incels or whatever they call themselves, involuntary celibates, they are men that are used to being rejected, and they are so sexually frustrated that they get to this red pill level.
You can't get no, so you celibate. No, you celibate. And you can't get no draws.
Yeah, the very women, like they'll talk about us or say we're average at best, but we are the women that reject them. And so they want to belittle us and say, well, you're not all that anyway. Like, okay, if I'm not all that, why are you even talking to me? Why am I even the topic of your discussion? If I'm not all that, go for the IG model.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Samuels has gotten rich because of Black women. Like, it's because of us. He wouldn't even have a platform or topics if he wasn't trying to belittle or dog us out, or if we weren't going on there looking for validation from somebody who is not worthy or qualified to give that to you. So
I'm not seeking advice from nobody who's 3 times divorced. Right. You couldn't even make your own marriage and life work. You gonna make somebody else's pie.
Come on.
Exactly. I had a friend post this over the weekend and it was funny. She said, Kevin Samuels is the Umar Johnson of Derek Jackson's. I don't know. That was so
hilarious.
That.
I love that.
That is so true.
That is.
So yeah, he's one of those people, and she's been on the show. She's a psychologist. She's a doctor of psychology, and she has a practice as well. I think she is a psychiatrist for adults or psychologist for adults. I'm sorry for getting your job incorrect, but she will not talk about Kevin Samuels, period. Like when I had her on the show, she was like, she's not coming on if we discuss him.
Woo.
But we ended up talking about him a little bit, but she hit the nail on the head, or however they say, the hammer on the nail. She said that he's one of those people that will give advice and it's generalized, and then he'll say, go get therapy, where it's like it's like he's harming somebody and is saying, go to the hospital to fix it. So it's just you can't beat somebody up and then put a Band-Aid over it and think it's going to be okay by saying, oh, go to therapy. You need therapy. I'm not a therapist. I never said I was a relationship guru, all that. But he's sitting there talking about relationships. He's sitting there talking about how a woman is supposed to get a man. And that's another thing. And I've said this before, and I'm giving him airtime now. But why are women, first of all, taking advice from a man on how to get a man, when really they should be getting it from a woman that has gotten a man? Like, I don't understand that. I will never understand. Yeah, exactly.
You can get them, but can you keep them?
Exactly. And so I would want to talk to a woman, because that woman is going to identify with me and my issues. Can't no man identify with me and my issues. Now you can tell me all day what a man wants, but I want to hear from an actual woman that got the man and kept him. So
yeah.
And like, I got a man, I'm not single for the trolls. I'm married. So that's another thing.
They'll try you.
Crazy though. I think more women should offer advice too, like the Kevin Samuels and the Derek Jackson. It should be more women out there actually trying to promote and capitalize off that, and because I feel like if more women step forward and did those type of things, some of them will fall back a little. Now I'm not talking about Derek Jack's wife, because she on something else. I'm good. Her and her army can go. But someone else can really, I feel like they're just somebody to listen to. Like I did listen to a couple times. And I'm like, all right, I didn't like Derek Jack. You already know that, Candace. But I listened to a couple of Kevin Samuels, and it's crazy because a couple of his videos, he wasn't even tripping. He was actually giving great sound advice. So I'm like, okay, this makes sense. But then the next video, he just be rating the crap out of somebody. Like, well, sir, did you get your coffee today? Like, are you bipolar? Like, what snap do you like? Today I'm nice, tomorrow is hell. Like, come on, sir, what's going on? I don't understand.
Yeah. some days he will be very classy, will be nice, and then like you said, other videos he's just going off. And you notice every woman he pulls on his show is something wrong with her. Like it's almost like he wants women, like basket case women, to call into his show. I have yet to see an educated woman that has it all together. I have yet to see him accept that call. I'm sure they're out there and they want to come on his show and actually talk with him, but will he allow them? No. He wants a basket case. And no offense to the women. Yeah, no offense. You said you're gonna go on. He ain't gonna pull you on though. He won't pull you on because he pre-screens it on Zoom, and then if you're not talking about his topic, he will not let you on the show. He'll kick you off. Yes. So you have to actually come on and be talking about his topic first for him to let you on. And then if you disagree with him, he'll easily hang up that phone.
Oh yeah. He can't stand to be disagreed with at all.
Get your 2 minutes out in the beginning.
And I haven't even actually watched, like gone directly to his channel. Like I've actually blocked his channel on YouTube. But I do watch other YouTubers who do reaction videos to his videos. So that's how I end up seeing his content. But he can't stand for you to be disagreed with, like at all. Like not even a little bit. Like, well, I mean, what about this? No, you don't come on my show disagree. I'd be like,
no.
Yeah, so that's why
okay.
Yeah, that's why I don't have the time. I just turn off his stuff. Because I do subscribe to his channel. Initially, I wanted to see what he was talking about, but every time I see a notification, it's him going off. And then you have to be a member of his channel in order to comment. He only has his comments on for his members.
For the paid people who pay him. Wow.
You don't get your tight shirt out of here.
Before I blow out that candle in the back, get on out of here.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Dollar Tree candle.
Dollar Tree.
And his little mini desk.
Yeah.
The size of my table back there.
So I'm gonna move to the next topic.
Right, Candace, like get it together, y'all tripping.
So the Black elitist mentality and colorism, which colorism kind of plays into this because most Black elitists are usually light-skinned or people of stature in our community. The Obamas can be considered Black elitists. Kind of art. Yes, we know he's shooting from a hotel.
Why do he keep saying that?
So this Black elitist mentality goes way, 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 way back, from even, I believe, slavery, the house Negro. This is something that has been a bad thing in our community for many years. It can be looked at as racism in our own community against each other. I just want to know you guys' thoughts. And, a prime example of a Black elitist group, Jack and Jill. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Jack and Jill.
Oh, the cotillion pageant thing.
Yes, yeah. It's like a Black society group. I've seen them a lot more in the South, but it's for Black people. Usually back in the day, you had to pass the paper bag test to be a part of this organization.
Wow. Well, I would have failed.
We all would have failed. But what are your thoughts, Siobhan, on this?
Okay. So I feel like a lot of this does still stem from white people and slavery. I really do, because like you said, they set up the whole house Negro, field Negro. And I feel like it might even be before that time, but at least that's the time that we're familiar with, is where they set those standards up. So it was almost like they pit us against each other, lighter skin African Americans against, more darker skin African Americans. They set that up to begin with. And then because I feel like with Jim Crow laws, that causing us to feel inferior and hate ourselves, hate being Black, hate being associated with being Black, I feel like a lot of people embraced colorism because it was like, okay, I don't want my bloodline or my family line to have darker skin, to be mistreated or to be looked down upon. So we're just going to keep going lighter and lighter and lighter, or respect lighter skin, because I feel like that. I just feel like that's where the root of all that comes from.
Mm-hmm. And Hannah, before you go, I do want to say this. It did stem from them originally, but when you think of house Negro and field Negro, sometimes it didn't even matter the color. It was just how your blood, how you were related to master. So, or massa. If you were,
yeah, massa.
You can be as brown as we are, but if your bloodline is in that, and say the grandmother been messing with him, she wants you in the house with her, 9 times out of 10, they would somewhat let, say, that grandchild in the house, and it didn't matter the color, because it's not going to always be about color. It was about pedigree, like what, just basically your bloodlines, how you were attached to certain people. And then when we got out of slavery, I feel like while in slavery, we were taught this internalized racism that occurs now. And so when we got us out of slavery, anything that looked closest to what was discriminated against, we didn't want to be like. So you did have a straight in our hair, or if you had a good grade of hair, you were socially accepted. You could be very brown and have a good grade of hair, and they would be like, "Oh yeah, you passed the test." You could be light, you could be it all depended on who you were associated with, how much money you had, and definitely the color of your eyes and different things. So the whiter or the more European your features or hair, the more likely you were socially accepted in our community and also in America. And so it's just crazy. What were you gonna? I have more to say, but I want to get what you have to say, Hannah.
Oh, I'll keep mine very brief. I was going to say, I feel like that mentality was a little bit before. I feel like we were, the elitist group was even a little bit before slavery. Because think about it. Some are our own people who thought they were better sold us to the slaves when they came over. Like even before then, before we got over here, they felt as though they had to go, and they sold our own people out. So I feel like this has been something even before we came, the filth, everything. This is something that's been going on for a while. I feel like it's more now because we're evolving. Different people see different things. Technology is that people just feel like they have to be more superior than you, which makes no sense. And as far as the colorism, I don't think that will ever go away. And I don't really think it will go away, not because of the outside races, but because of how we treat each other inside the race. How we hear people say, "Oh, I don't want to date somebody because they're light skinned. I don't want to date somebody because they're dark skinned," or "You're beneath me because of that and this." And I feel like a lot of us inside the culture are very disrespectful towards other people. Like you can have a preference. There's nothing wrong with a preference. But you can have a preference and not disrespect another person's color or how light and dark they are. You can prefer somebody tall, short, however you want. But if you're specifically saying, "Oh, you're dark, you're light, you're basically beneath me," or anything, and that's when the problem lies. And I think people get mad when you address it, because the first thing they say is, "Oh, well, I have a preference." No, you don't have a preference. You are dealing with colorism. So you have to separate that. And I feel like everyone tries to throw that preference out there when they don't want to really deal with, no, you can have a preference, but right now you're not saying your preference. You're basically saying that this person is better than that person because of the color of their skin. And that's when the colorism forms.
I definitely agree. What were you going to say, Shawan? You were going to say something?
I was just going to say how it's like continue to evolve and be perpetuated. Like I don't think we can have this discussion and not acknowledge the effect that the hip hop culture has had in fueling the flames of colorism. Like we can name so many songs where a lot of the rappers are always saying red bones, pink toes, or I prefer the, I always all about, like they are always constantly uplifting, a skin aesthetic, a skin tone. So a lot of that gets continually perpetuated. A lot of our generation is listening to that over and over, and then you begin to hear that. And I feel like a lot of men are saying like, okay, well, this is the praise or the more uplifted skin tone. So this is like the status or the trophy skin tone, you know, and I feel like that's what I need to have to whatever, be out here flossing or looking like I'm successful or whatever.
And I definitely agree with you in regards to that skin tone thing, because I just can recall growing up as a child, like that was something that bothered me a lot of times. A lot of times as a child, I wish I was lighter, because every time I have been called ugly, it wasn't by a guy or a boy, it was by a girl. And usually that girl was lighter than me. And so
Wow.
I can recall a time in college, I did an international fashion show. And I feel like, you know, Black women, we are so beautiful. One day people will accept our features because this is what we look like. And I know a lot of people strive to look like us, but they don't ever want to give us the credit for it. But going back to my story, I did an international fashion show, and I remember we modeled like Indian clothes, African clothes, Caribbean wear. And I remember coming out, my features at times people will assume I'm Indian for some reason, but I had on the Indian hijab, I had the little red dot, and I remember this light-skinned Black girl in the audience. She was like, she is so ugly. And so I had to continue to model, because we would get people shouting stuff at us all the time. And so I had to continue to model, but I'm like, goodness, what did I do? I'm ugly because I'm not as light as you, or do you really just find me ugly? Like I said, I've never had a guy tell me I was ugly. It's always been a woman or a girl that has called me ugly, and usually that girl was lighter than me.
Wow.
So I think colorism especially is a big issue in our community, not only for men, but for women too, because we can say, I know they had the little documentary of what is it? I think Oprah did it.
Oprah,
like,
yeah.
Black skin and then light skin or whatever. And the light skin women, the light skin women were talking about their light skin pain, but I just no offense to light skinned women, but what you've gone through is nothing compared to what a darker or browner skinned Black woman has gone through. Because even though I'm a medium tone Black woman, I'm going through a lot of stuff in regards to my color. I've witnessed browner skinned Black women be called all types of names and be degraded. And I just have never seen that happen to light skinned women before. Go ahead.
I'll be honest. In Philly, shockingly, some of those men are very disrespectful to light-skinned women. Like, very. And it's weird because they'll date them, but it's just so weird. Like, they would be very disrespectful. Or if you tell them, no, I'm good, I don't want your number. Oh, you acting real light-skinned. Like, I have no idea what that means.
Let me ask you this.
They can be very disrespectful.
Has their sexual abuse ever been minimized because of them being light skinned? Because I'll say this with browner skinned women, I've seen it so many times. Think about Tarana Burke. Because she looks like what she looks like, and she's a darker skinned woman, a lot of men, when she spoke out against R. Kelly, was like, well, who want to get with her? I don't believe she was assaulted. And what they don't realize, a predator is going to go after anybody. If whoever is the most vulnerable that people aren't checking for and looking for, that predator is going towards that person. And I just feel like for some reason, when it's a brown skinned woman or a darker skinned woman talking about their abuse, it's minimized and just out the window. So that's where the Me Too movement comes into play. And then light skinned women will always say, well, I was abused because of my looks. And nothing against that, because I feel like we're all abused. But I'll just say this, you were abused because they knew that somebody wasn't watching you, and they knew you were vulnerable. They knew that you were an easy target. So I don't believe abuse has anything to do with the color of your skin. It's that predator that is just going for whatever easy target they can get. But yeah, you have to watch the light skinned girls thing, because they were on there talking about how because of how light they were, they had to hide, because they just knew every predator was after them.
Yeah, she was. Candace is telling the truth, because the lady, she looked like,
because you light
she looked traumatized. She was like, she said that she, I guess, would be always like harassed, and she couldn't just walk down the street without men trying to, not in a positive way, but in a way where they were, I guess, trying to sexually harass her, or she just always felt like a target to be sexually harassed, is basically how she was coming off, because she was fair skin or light skin or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll say so. I'll agree with y'all, only because I had a friend of mine who, she's very light, and we had went. She was meeting her boyfriend, and he had his brother with him, and I don't think the brother was drinking. You know how you just be saying stuff. And he was like, "Oh, I thought you said that she was the only pretty one in the group because you light," but that's not true, because he kept trying to talk to me. I'm like, I'm good. At that time, I was married. I just was out with her, and I'm like, "You said that?" And she was like, "Well, I think he took him on." He was like, "No, I know what I said." He was dead adamant. Like, and he from New York. You know, New Yorkers don't care. So like, right. That's what you said. You said you was light and you was the prettier one.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, like that was your description?
Like, that's how you really feel? Like,
and when I see I think all my girls are beautiful. Like, I never try to distinguish, and we all different shades. And I never tried to separate us, but it did dawn on me that you specifically said I'm light skinned and I'm the prettiest one, because like, why would you just separate that?
Because she's probably intimidated by you. You got a lot of body, yaddy, yaddy.
I don't care. Stop saying that.
So you not only do you have an attractive face, but you're stacked, and so she was probably intimidated by that. I don't know what happened to Hannah, but you know that a lot of times that's what happens.
Sorry, somebody called me. I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb.
But you know, you have a pretty face, you have body, and so
I have
the one thing that she thinks she has over you is her skin tone.
Yes.
Which is sad, because I don't separate my friends. Like, I've never been that person to say, "Oh, you look like this," or "You like that." I'm like, we're all beautiful because we have all different features. And that's what makes us beautiful, because we don't all look the same. But yet a black woman can make any type. We can make an albino. We can make any type of race out here. And I feel as though it's just better that we all have different features. And why can't we just accept that and embrace it instead of trying to separate within?
I think
I'll be right back, Candace. One moment.
All right. It stems, and I'll tell you, Siobhan, it stems definitely from just coming out of slavery and then having to make it on our own. And, you know, a lot of times people that passed didn't have to go through slavery. And so it's like, to make it in America, I know they're thinking, why not back then? Why not try to look as white as I can, or try to look, I didn't even see Bree's comment. She said, "I hope that isn't your friend anymore."
Right. Seriously. I know. That would have been it.
Yeah, that she would have been left right then and there.
Yeah.
But no, it's just it's something that we have to navigate through. I don't think it's going to change for a long time, because going back to just a Black elitist attitude, let's take away color and let's just talk about status and class. When I originally talked about this topic, I used the example of the owner of True Kitchen in Dallas, who kicked the women out of his restaurant because of the twerking. And he gave this whole speech about how he's trying to do this for our community, and these people come and twerk and do whatever. And he came off, some people in the comments called him a Black elitist. And so we have that occurs as well, where we have a class system amongst ourselves. There's a lower middle class and then upper middle class.
And then there's Ratchet and Bougetto.
Yes. And so I guess, what'd you say, Hannah? Are you muted, Hannah? You're muted.
Muted like hell. Study talking. Said I might be mild Bougetto.
Well, I
am.
I'm all of it, but I don't turn my nose up against somebody
that's the thing.
Maybe different from me, because they can have all this status and all that, but they got a Pookie and Ray Ray relative in their family. Like, you cannot deny it. And they know. I remember watching. I forgot the name of this movie, But it was Danny Glover and Whoopi Goldberg, and it's crazy because they were in color purple. No, not Beloved. They were black. Ooh, Danny Glover was a lawyer.
Beloved. I gotta get that out of my head.
For real.
Danny Glover was a lawyer, and Whoopi Goldberg was his wife, and they moved to the suburbs. And I forgot what it's called, but it's such a funny movie. But I remember they went. Well, they were a couple of status now. They had 2 kids. They had the all-American family, and they had all this money. Danny Glover supported this white client or something like that and got money, so he was accepted in society. And so I remember they went to visit his family, and they was like, "You don't want no neck bones?" They was trying to. He was so.
All right, maybe I do turn my face up because I am.
He was so disgusted. Like, no. But what's funny is in this movie, Monique is in the movie, so she ends up moving in their neighborhood, and she starts having barbecues and all that. And Danny Glover,
oh Lord,
yeah, Danny Glover and Whoopi Goldberg are like, "Oh no, like I can't believe this. Whoopi is always looking out the window at her."
I have to see this movie.
That sounds like a cute movie.
Yeah, it's very funny. I think it came out like in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, early 2000s. But
you're gonna have me look it up tonight, or after I watch my Mortal Kombat, I'll watch it.
I'm gonna look it up. But that movie is definitely like they were considered black elitists basically, and they was turning their nose up at Monique because she reminded them of what they left. So
question: if you turn your nose up, does that mean you're a black elitist?
Not necessarily. A black elitist would be somebody that, I mean, you know, you can turn your nose up at things, but like I consider Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby to me was a black elitist. He was always like, pull your bootstraps up, minimizing the struggle that we were going through, and definitely like just putting down black people, saying, "Oh,
he was drugging white people," but okay,
exactly. So that's a black elitist. I just feel like we all know there is many facets to us, and please don't ignore our own struggle. That's all I say about that.
Facts upon facts.
Yeah.
But I think there's nothing wrong with turning your nose up because I do often.
Yeah, like, you know, because sometimes, you know, depending on the situation, somebody's that's being like loud and ridiculous, you just be like, oh,
I can't stand.
Yeah.
I was in DHL and this lady was just screaming. I was like, please, I hope.
Oh, here go a troll. He said that is not what an elitist is. So go ahead and tell us what an elitist is, Mr. Mirci Allah Trey, aka Mr. Research.
Mr. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Tell us what.
Yes, with the Easter Sunday suit. Let's go.
Tell us what an elitist is, Mr.
Maybe he is an elitist, so he can give the definition.
Yeah,
I'm
so the movie I was talking about is Good Fences.
I heard of Good Fences. I've never saw it though.
I haven't, but I want to see it now.
So clearly, I don't see any movies. I don't see anything. So I still gotta watch The Little Rascals.
Let me tell you this, Mr. Research. So a prime example of an elitist is Booker T. Washington. I graduated from Tuskegee University, and Booker T. Washington had a group called the Talented 10th.
Yes.
And they were supposed to be elitists. So that's my example of it. But tell me what your definition is.
In a timely fashion.
Yes, I want to see.
Right.
Without Googling.
Yes, Bree, Good Fences.
So I have to watch Good Fences. I heard of that. I just never saw it.
It was so funny to me. I'm sorry. It was funny. It's like a dry comedy. It's funny when Monique comes and she starts having them barbecues and like Whoopi Goldberg is like so appalled.
Yes, the bourgeois, the bourgetto. I love it.
The bourgetto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so Googling,
I was going to say, Mr. Research, we can take it back to the Talented 10th. So the Talented 10th were a group of people that were supposed to represent the Black race. Booker T. Washington did not feel like the typical Black person should represent us as African Americans. And when he started Tuskegee, this is why I don't agree with him, even though he founded my school. When he started Tuskegee, he wanted to create a school that taught African Americans farming. He didn't want to teach them to how to be a doctor or a lawyer. He wanted them to be separate but equal with white America or with society. So you get people like Rockefeller, Ford, all these people donating to Tuskegee to teach us how to farm and stay in our place. So I can go on and on and on about this. I'm waiting for Mr. Research to come.
We'll be waiting all day.
All right. We didn't
If
bite.
you comment like that, you should
I know.
automatically be able to back it up instantaneous. If you have to think about it and you have to Google, then rock out.
And I rarely shout my university out because I talk crazy on here. I drink, so I don't want to represent them in a bad light. But this was a time where I had to pull that card.
Not so crazy. I drink. Well, I went to Temple. That's all they did. Yeah. And they weren't us. Yeah. They weren't us at all.
So the last topic, and I'm gonna still wait for you, Mr. Research, because I am open for a good dialogue. Yeah. I love debate. I love it. So I welcome
everything.
I welcome it.
But if you're not subscribed, we're not putting your comment back up.
I think he's subscribed. He's commented before. Let's see if he commented. You said I replied long ago. You just haven't shown it. I don't see it on here. I should take a screenshot of this.
Well, copy and paste it.
All I have is this one. That's not what an elitist is. I have Breeze. I have yours. You replied long ago. She said, just bring them on. Yes, Mr. Elitist. Would you like to come on the show? I'm going to put it in the comments. I've done this before. Now, if you come on here, you can't.
And you have to show your face because the last guy didn't want to show his face.
I know, and he showed his face. So I'm putting my StreamYard link in the comments. Oh, and Bree said you definitely did.
Lipstick is everything tonight.
Thank you, Bree. She said he definitely did comment long ago.
He's
call it out, Bree. Call it out.
Oh, she said she just want to know if the pig matches the live video. I do too.
Exactly.
What live videos?
She's talking about it when he comes on.
If he comes on, is he gonna look like his pick, or is that like a Google stock photo? Or
so, Mr. Research,
that's LinkedIn.
I've done. I think I did this when y'all was on before, Siobhan. I brought someone.
Yeah,
and he kept his face off because he said, "I don't want y'all
he turned on his camera. He ended up turning on his camera.
I thought he had glasses. He didn't cut it on one time. No, he did not.
Oh,
he said, "I don't want y'all to judge me," but you were talking so much trash. Why can't we see your face?
And he was very nice when he came on.
He was really. He ended up being really cool.
In the comments, I was like, "Oh, you came on with some class and respect." You was in the comments tripping.
So Mr.
He ended up being really cool, but I don't know, Mr. Research.
Oh, see, Bree, she said no, he didn't. I'm laughing at her comments. The Google stock photo. Yes. Thank you, Bree. She got the receipts of it all.
Yes.
Yes, Bree. That's definitely what he said. He said, I don't want to be judged. He ain't show that face one time.
I don't know why I thought I saw it. He turned it on for a second, though, because he was like a brown-skinned black guy with glasses. And then maybe he turned it off real quick.
One time.
Oh. Well, either way, he was very respectable when he came on. And
he was.
Oh, this is Mr.
And then he left and allowed us to finish talking.
I'm gonna bring him on, sir.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is coming on.
Mr. Research. Let me take the thing down. So I'm glad you joined. I love doing this, having live people comment. So what would you
smile? Cheers.
I know, and I'm sorry. We get a little toasty on here at that term. So, but what would you say? And Elitist is on it, and Bree is like, "Hey."
Let me say this before we even go there. So respectfully, when we calling each other names, trolls, or we making up these lies to make, what I did say, in a try to escape what I actually said, that's not intellectual. So it's kind of disingenuous, especially for Bree to just flat out and lie. I made a comment in the chat, which maybe you didn't see because maybe you can only see from the StreamYard side. But it's definitely.
I was gonna say, go to the comment. If you click on comments, go to it.
Yeah. Let me just say, here on YouTube, it says, calling me names like troll is not intellectual. We elite blacks are a set of owners, supervisors, and managers that yield power over whites. And I actually tagged Bree. So not only did Bree lie to you just to get your favor and your laughs and jokes, I tagged it to her as well. So let me just start there. The only reason I want to start there, ladies, is because when some of us try to be cordial and respectful, we get these people like Bree who want to lie just to gas y'all up into the yeah girl bump him. So that's it. That's all I want to say about that. About the elite thing, it's really this. I'm from the hood. I'm not even supposed to be in the position that I'm in. I've had so many black people try to fight to stop me from getting where I'm at. That's the other thing you need to know. When you're dealing with people, male or female, who have risen to a certain thing, if you notice, we give back more than the people who critique us. We volunteer more than the people who critique us. And that's something you need to know about the elitist things. Are some of our theories not what you want to hear? Of course, because we're fighting many of these battles on a manager, supervisor, and owner level that you guys have not. Here's my last point, and then I want to hear from y'all because it's a two-way dialogue. Look at the EEOC. For the past 50 years, black males have been the most applications stopped, the most blocked in the entire USA, even over immigrants. Well, part of that is because we as black folks, we say one thing, but then we're not doing what we should do to correct our own internal problems. Sorry to bring down the laughter and jokes, but I just want to get intellectual with you for a minute. What are your thoughts?
I think we have an intellectual. One thing I want to say, I don't know, you kind of came on a little defensive, and now you turn your camera off.
Well, I just don't like being called names. Like that's what because I'm not going to call y'all.
Who called you a troll?
You have to understand. I get a lot of trolls on my channel. So, and I'll say this: you're talking to, yes, you're pointing at me, Candace. You're talking to a person.
She asked me a question. Who called me a troll?
I know, and I said, yes, you're pointing to me, Candace. So you're talking to myself. I'm a manager. I have about 15 years of management experience. I work for a large company. You're talking to a business owner, which is Hannah to my right, and you're talking to Siobhan, who also has leadership experience as well. So we understand the elitist plight, but my argument with that is I'm not going to belittle or downgrade people in my community and act like they're crabs in a barrel in order to lift myself up. I'm going to continue to help my community. And so you get some elitists, like I said, Booker T. Washington, who founded my school, who only wanted a set number of black people to represent the black race because he felt like he couldn't depend on the black race as a whole to represent itself. And I don't think that's right. I don't think when you look at Tuskegee, it was started as a farming school. And though once he passed away, they brought other programs, you cannot limit a person. You have to really believe in them. Yes, people are going to make mistakes. We are not perfect. But I will say this. I feel like having that elitist attitude is adopting the attitude that we're trying to fight, which is the old white America. So that's my thoughts on that. No, I'm gonna let Hannah and Siobhan speak, and then we'll come back to
Let me grab a piece of paper so I can write that down for the next person speaks, so I don't forget all your points.
Okay.
Okay, so I will piggyback on the defensive. I think you did come on a little defensive because in the beginning of the conversation, everything was very before the drinks start pouring. It is ladies' night. We have fun on Friday. Before that, we had a very intellectual conversation about race, colorism, everything. So I'm not sure what time you tuned in, but prior to that, we did. I think it's more than one type of elitist, and I'm only saying that because I was a part of. I'll be honest. I was a part of some groups that didn't want other black people in because they thought they were a certain way. My mother growing up had me in etiquette classes and all this other mess that they looked down on certain people coming with me, or I invited my friend who really didn't know it was, a problem. So I know certain groups, we say we're part of this elitist status, but I think we have all different definitions from what we see. So I think your experience dealing with certain elitists can bring out different outcomes. I'm not saying either anybody is right or anybody is wrong. I think we have different experiences, and it's okay to have those different experiences. We can't say, oh, you're wrong and that's not what this is and this is not what that is, because we all met people different ways and we had different experiences. So it's not that someone else is wrong. It's just that we just saw different people at those status, at those heights, and at those levels. And Bree is my friend.
And she's mine too. She wasn't gassing us up, but go ahead, Siobhan.
And I don't know. I just wanted to first say that like a troll, like hopefully you know what that means. It's not any a reference to like the way like anyone's appearance. It's a reference of someone coming into a stream or a area where there's dialogue and they kind of just like instantly anti whatever that streamer or live stream is about, or they just kind of antagonize the situation. Like that's what a definition of a troll is. Okay.
You done, Siobhan?
You done, Siobhan?
He's like vehemently shaking his head no, but I feel like I gave the correct definition of a troll. So he can respond to that if he likes, but
we can agree to disagree. To me, troll isn't an intellectual term. When you talk about YouTube, you have YouTube trolls. There are people that will troll your channel in order to bully you, to get attention. So that is a real term. Now you yourself, you might not agree that you're a troll, but I get a lot of trolls on this channel, and I am sorry that you felt offended by me calling you a troll. But I want, Siobhan, did you have anything else to say before we go back to Mr. Research?
Okay, well, as far as, I think he was mentioning how, I guess elitists are more so successful and Black business owners and Black people in upper management and their plight that they go through to get to reach those levels, and how he has run into other Black people, I guess, being more so like crabs in a barrel towards him, with him trying to succeed and get into those positions. And we did kind of touch on that, like how we did say that there were Black women who have given us, a lot of heck or a lot of trouble in corporate America when you would think they would understand your plight and try to lift you up. But at the same time, they're more too concerned with elevating themselves at your expense. So I feel like we did touch on that a little bit, and that we all kind of have felt that a little bit in our corporate America journeys individually. But he can go ahead. He's chomping at the bit here.
All right, Mr. Research, I'm ready to hear what you have to say. You're muted too.
Thank you for welcoming me, Candace, and thank you, Vernon, for sending out a brotherly welcome. Shout out to you, bro. I do appreciate you being a welcoming person over here. Appreciate that.
My husband. That's my husband.
I just applaud when people are cordial and nice. Just because somebody makes a comment in your chat room does not mean they're trying to derail nothing. Does not mean they're trying to. So to even assert that is intellectually dishonest. But that's the mean-spirited thing we do as Black people. We try to justify being disrespectful to others, but then at the same time, we want the best of our Black men and we want the best of our Black women. You don't call nobody derogatory anything unless they've proven that they've done it. But let's get away from that, because it's all fun and jokes over here. And maybe, putting down people who make stuff in the chat room is part of the thing. I don't know, but I'm not.
No, I'm gonna stop you right there, because calling you a troll is not derogatory. That was my opinion on you commenting on my channel. And like I said before, I apologize. What we're not going to do today is continue to harp on that. I want to hear your thoughts on an elitist. I apologize for calling you a troll. I do get a lot of trolls that comment on my channel, but I want to hear what your thoughts are on what we've said in regards to being an elitist.
Okay. I was responding to what Siobhan said. I wasn't responding to what you were saying, Candace. But look, let me just say this final thing. When you say when somebody's been victimized by something and you tell them, "Hey, victim, stop harping on it." Jesus Christ. But okay, let's move on. I wouldn't do that to you guys if you came over to my thing. If you felt a certain way that somebody did something, I would let you express, not hurry up, shut up. Who cares what happens? I wouldn't do that to you guys. So let's go with the elitist thing. Going back to what the lady said about going through or getting to the top, reaching. I don't know where that came from, but the point is that elitist people now, 2021, I don't know where we're trying to associate it before, but we're the ones who donate to these colleges more. We're the ones who volunteer in these areas more. The people who critique us are the people who are not moving and shaking. Their own children, many a times, don't even have any legacy. The elite people, we have legacy, land, property. Our kids are pretty much on point. These other people just work to help to help anti-blacks many a times. So when you look at a Booker T, who I did not agree with, his theory was the rest of y'all are not trying to make these moves at all. I don't want to deal with y'all. You guys are, and I'm just talking about him. You guys are like, I want, I expect. Okay, hire more Black people. You're in these areas. Before COVID, I hired 12 Black men. I risked my job to do that. But you got people in these Black spaces, they have nobody that they've helped other than a white person or an Indian person or somebody who is traditionally anti-Black. So when I say about elite, we're of the thing where we give back. I volunteer for Big Brothers of San Francisco. I volunteer for First Time Dads in Atlanta. I volunteer for Families First in Atlanta. I gave like 12 G's over the past 5 years to 3 different policy makers to get things passed as it relates to men being accosted with this whole father of record thing. I mean, even for women, I did a thing on my video where I went to somebody's business and said, "Hey, that sister deserves your respect, Miss Asian manager. She makes this place go." But the people who critique, they barely do any of that. They're just sitting here wagging their finger. They're here smoking their cigarettes, sipping their tea. And in conclusion, many a times those anti-Black speakers are more elitist per your definition than many of us. It comes across like they hate Black people. They always critiquing for the white man. So those are the things I found discerning. But you guys are allowed to feel how you feel. If you ever come on our channel, we have intellectual women, intellectual men, but we're not going to treat you disrespectfully. We're going to hear you mentally. We're not going to try to put you down. So
I don't feel like we disrespected you, and I agree with your points, but I said I'm sorry that you.
I know you're probably me, but I feel that way. So but go ahead, rock on. It's your turn.
But no, I wanted to say this.
You are so pretty. But go ahead.
I wanted to say this. I just wanted to say that your definition of elitist is different from what we're talking about. I'm talking about the typical term in elitist. How would you, I know you said you define yourself as an elitist. I would just define you as a person that's trying to help the community. And elitist is those people that talk negatively about our community and don't try to help it. So
those are the anti-Blacks, because if we're going to use that paradigm as the definition, well, we got poor people that do that. We got dudes who drive Uber all day and don't even have a career who do that. YouTube is full of Black males and Black females using YouTube to pay their apartment bills. I saw we done had 2 or 3 of Black women get busted for fraud, sent to federal jail off of YouTube. We've had the Tommy Sotomayor's pretending to be a Black man and he's really Panamanian. We got all this type of stuff going on. All right, so I mean, you just can't associate like Cascade, Atlanta guys or Arlington, Texas guys or Uptown, Louisiana guys. These guys come from lineage. Even when they are screw ups, they come from lineage. So when you get with a dude, like I work in medical finance. Again, I'm not even supposed to be in my position. I got 5 certifications. I haven't even finished college, but I'm hated in my community by most women because I don't fit a certain stereotype. I'm hated by most men in my community because I have achieved. That's what they are trying to, not you, but that's what they are trying to turn into elitists now. Things of people who have achieved something, who got something, who want to be on point. Come on, we this community. Lastly, even when you look at the Africans, I get on their butt too. They don't even know their history half the time. How did you get that way? How did those tariffs come into play? Well, you want to now change those tariffs and get Arabs and Chinese as your master? That don't make no sense. Why? Well, we just want to sell our products. But wait a minute. Do you even understand the history of how you got that way? Oh, we don't want to talk about history. When I say that, they think I'm elitist. Oh, you just trying to stop us. I understand the white man and how he thinks. And his goal is to empower our women so that they'll be gatekeepers and that their sons and daughters, this is his goal because he is proven it. When we ran most of these businesses in the 70s and 80s, that should have been passed down to our children. Our children shouldn't be able to walk in to prime jobs. But instead, we created stuff like you're overqualified, which a term never existed. We created things like our EEOC is out the roof for Black people, male and female. So, but let me stop talking. I want to hear from you guys. And, it's a two-way dialogue.
I'm going to let Hannah, I was going to say, I'm going to let Hannah talk, but the EEOC, and you keep turning your camera off, sir. But the EEOC, I have a cousin who's a lawyer for the EEOC. So I've dealt with them as well. Being in management, we have employees that will file a claim with the EEOC. So I get what you're saying in that aspect, but I'm 50-50.
I have interviewed two managers from the EEOC. One, Mr. Ryan Leaf in Atlanta, white guy, and one, a sister in Washington, D.C. They both concur the same thing.
So I'm going to let Hannah talk, Miss Gorgeous Hannah, because I think you were saying you look beautiful.
Me?
Yeah, I like dark-skinned girls. The darker, the better.
Yeah, and see, we were talking about colorism and preference, and so it's nothing wrong with liking dark-skinned women as long as you're not putting down light-skinned women.
No, you know what? Most men don't do that. Y'all got to understand. A lot of these boys are in play now because women like their sexual identity. Most of these boys had no play back in the day. You had to be a dude with a track record, and now a dude with a track record is hated in the community, but a dude pretending to be a man is loved. Ain't nothing we can do but just remove ourselves from what's going on. But go ahead, lady. I'm sorry.
I agree with that because I don't know where the older gentlemen are nowadays talking to the youth. That has passed, depending on what city you're in. I was going to say two things. I know we're talking about this troll thing. I was going to say I hope that you don't think no one was over here disrespecting you, because Candace has really allowed other people to come on her channel and treat it with respect. And the comment was only made because a lot of men have came on here and been disrespectful just as us being women, whether it's in the comments, whether it was just very disrespectful. And it's rare when you have a lot of women that can get along. So we're trying to get along and have a good dialogue. And then you have people who are troll. I never say trolls, but trolls who come on there and are very disrespectful just for people having a conversation. So that's where that came from. You are different. I mean, you showed your face because some people come on here and don't show their face and talk a lot of trash. So that's a little different. So I don't think nobody was trying to offend you. I just felt as though we've been down this road, and when you have somebody who's repeatedly doing something, you don't really know what to accept because you're used to the disrespectful behavior. So of course, I mean, they say sometimes you have to judge early when you're used to certain situations. And also I'll touch back on, I'll reiterate what I said. I feel like we are all right in our own way. We just need to realize that we have different experiences. I listened to what Candace was saying. I listened to what you were saying. I listened to what Siobhan was saying. And I feel like we all can come to a common ground and agree on something, like as I was saying earlier, we all feel like we have to separate within the race. And a lot of people outside of the race does that for us. So I feel like we all can come to a common ground here and not let us be separated because we get separated enough. So I feel like we all can just agree to disagree, but I feel like we can accept and respect everyone's opinions and views on this topic.
Let me share this before Siobhan jumps in. The thing you said about the older men speaking, we can't. Because many a times you always got to fight another dude who only wants a woman on the microphone. This actually happens a lot. Or you got to fight a younger dude who wants to be in control but can't stop his constituents from jumping on automobile cars and acting wild. We can, but he don't want us involved. And this is what I say all the time. If you don't like Al Sharpton, create an Al Sharpton 2.0. Stop complaining about Al Sharpton. And until you create the Al Sharpton 3.0, you ain't did nothing. Telling me to step aside, old man, and let blah 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 rock. You can't even control this dude. You don't even understand imaging. You got a dude sitting up here jumping on a police car. Ain't you supposed to be the one running this grassroots organization? Or you got a woman running the organization and she buying 4 houses. It doesn't even matter if it's legit. The appearance of it looks bad. You just got almost a 90 million racks. And now you buying 4 different properties in 4 different places under your name. What are you doing? So it's not that we don't want to be involved. The image of men who have a track record has been devolved by the lower brothers and many of the women. Now, once the anti-Blacks start attacking everybody, then who you gonna go to? You're gonna go to the established dudes that you've been teasing. You're gonna go to the elitists that you've been criticizing because the grassroots boy can't do nothing. And many a time the lady realizes she can't make moves without protection. The other thing I'll say is, yes, these idiots who go around attacking people, going to channels, saying stuff, but you'd be amazed how many 13-year-olds those are. You'd be amazed how many dudes from Turkey are picking African names pretending to be Black. I've busted dudes on my channel who was Indian, pretending to be Black. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times our women think that some of these Black dudes or Black boys or even Black girls no, these are people from other countries trying to entice Black folks to see how they would respond. So please consider that. But you are right. There are some idiots who do what they do. Go ahead, Ms. Shavana.
No, I'm just going to direct it back to you and give you more floor to speak. Did you have any thoughts on or any experiences with colorism, being an elite, individual in your field?
Well, as you see, I'm probably the darkest person on here. I'm Black like my shirt. I love it. I enjoy it. What you got to understand is many of us males, we don't have the fortunates to take on the war theory of colorism because our light-skinned brothers, our reddish-brown brothers, we're of a different thing we got to deal with. I don't have Black women protecting me in my field. I don't. I'm in medical. I have Black women working against me, oddly enough. Which is why you don't see a lot of brothers in this field. I've sat with. I'm going to put together the first African and Black medical breakfast thing in my area on a quarterly basis, just to get us back to some unity of understanding. Because now the Filipinos are taking over, and the Indians are taking over because they don't have these conversations. They're not worried about you come from South India, I'm from North India. They worry about that back at their homeland. They're here now. So colorism is not going. Matter of fact, colorism is a conversation in their land. It ain't gonna be one here because they're thinking take over this county, take over this plaza. I'm gonna work with Candace, even though I don't like Candace, and we're gonna take over this mall and then give that to our children, and then we're gonna work on this other cul-de-sac over here. And we don't even like each other. People who take on the colorism argument what you are not understanding is it's a time-consuming, never-ending thing. The success of colorism means that you have to get everybody, including women, to not critique each other at all on any regard. Because once you solve the skin color, now you're going to go to hairism. Once you solve hairism, now you're going to go to what? We just started the biracial war, didn't we?
It's featureism, basically.
Yeah, featureism. Black women didn't start that, Siobhan. I mean, black men didn't start that, Siobhan. Black men didn't create the term mammy. Black men did not create the term pick me. Black men did not create this biracial war. So how can we help you stop it? Respectfully, it is something that Grandma Nina Simone and all the dead grandmas of era need to come back in the time machine and talk to you women along with Iyanla Vanzant. And I hope you guys have the courage to talk about what Iyanla Vanzant said one day, is to say, hey, Siobhan, why is your niece not working in that field? Siobhan, why is your son not? Siobhan, you're about to die now. You got a big house. You got a big car. Why is your predecessors not dominating the social civil union thing that you used to be in? But guess what? Your counterpart, Ling Sing, she done brought 12 of her people in. Go ahead, Candace.
I just want to ask you a question. So colorism, of course,
Yes,
both
I am black. Yes, I am black.
No, but I want to say this: black men and black women dealt with that back then. But I feel like, I hear an echo somewhere.
I do. Let me mute and see if it's me.
Okay. So I feel like now in today's society, it's black men that perpetuates the colorism, because when you look at the entertainment world, I know you don't want to hear it, and I want to hold black men accountable, but I really feel like if you look at NWA, it's documented that they wanted only light-skinned women, none of us, because even though Hannah is a browner skinned black woman, me and Siobhan are not that far from Hannah. We are women of color. They're not checking for us. They're not looking for us. They discriminate against us. And so that was something that was perpetuated by black men. When it comes to, I think it is you, Mr. Research. I'm gonna mute you for a second. And thank you, Bert. But colorism and featureism in regards to black women, we do love each other. Sometimes we compete. And I will say that because I'm not gonna lie, I called a black woman a pick me because I felt like she was uplifting black men and putting us down. She had internal misogynoir. And so we have to come together as a people. Though earlier in my show, I talked about how sometimes black men feel like they have it harder than us, and we say we have it harder than them. But I feel like we both have it hard together. And I wish Kenny, I'm calling for my cousin Kenny. I need some more men on here. But I want to get your thoughts on colorism, because you said you're a black man, but if you're a black man with money, you can get whatever woman you want, sir.
That is true. So here's the thing. And look, you guys want me to pay for your lunch? We can all get together with my people. We can make it fair, because on my side, everybody gets to speak. Nobody interrupts and talks over each other. So yeah, I mean, it's all gravy. Let's make it happen. Don't be scared of it.
I feel like you have a lot of underhanded shade and comments towards my show. And we
that wasn't even towards your show. You took it that way. What I'm trying to suggest is if we were to do it, you would have no fear of being talked over. Let me pronunciate better. Let me articulate better. So I enjoy this intellectual stuff because it helps us really get away from the buffoonery. So let me answer the question, and please get these other brothers in. I mean, hey.
Yeah, if anybody, my husband is here, but he's acting, I guess.
Come on, man. Come on, bro.
I told Bert to join. He didn't want to come down.
Maybe you disagree. I mean, I need to hear it. Let's
I'm finna put my link, my StreamYard link in the comment section again. I need some fellas on here tonight. This is turning into, and Mr. Researcher, I think I want to have you again. I usually do a Lions Den show Lions Den meets Ladies Night, and my next topic is actually going to be the Black church and Black church hurt. So I would love to hear your opinion on that.
I'm gonna send this to 3 of my quality guys to see if they're up and about. So I'm gonna grab that link.
So
All right, so let me say this part of it. Okay. You guys, okay. You guys don't have it as hard because, like the field I'm in, I would love to see more brothers in this field, but it's Black people who block them. And you know what? I tell people all the time, man, I'm not a person I'm a warrior. I'm not a person who really hurts behind this stuff, but I can imagine why a lot of dudes give up. I've had literally Black people try to stop my career. And I've seen, and see, brothers many times don't like saying some of this stuff because they're very anecdotal. I've been traveling since 17 years old. I left my town. 19 years old, I'm living in Romania. I'm learning about the Celts, the Franks. I'm going through Kakistan. I go to France. I go to England. 4 years I'm over there, and I'm learning the game from whites that Blacks never taught me. And I'm from the hood. When I come back, I hear a lot of brothers are like very docile in their warriorship. They're like, I'm just going to do enough. I'm just going to do this. And I'll be like, well, bro, you've been at the same spot for 5 years. Why ain't you made supervisor yet? Oh, that ain't what I want to do. And then 6 years later, an immigrant comes in, becomes a supervisor, and giving him a bunch of slack. What? He's trying to get rid of you so his cousin can get that role. Man, that ain't right. Because nobody just sits at the job, bro. You got to elevate. Then when we have these conversations, men and women, that same style of brother will be like, oh, man, what Mr. Research says garbage, man. It ain't all about that. Okay, brother, have you ever left your county? Man, I ain't got to leave my county. I've been working a truck for it. Okay, brother, there's different levels of the game. I'm not saying that you're incorrect, but there's different levels of the game. So if you're going to speak as a brother with that face, don't be like Drake, the rapper, putting black on your face, teasing the Black community and saying I did it because I felt I was being teased myself by white folks. It don't make sense. Lastly, let me clean up, Candace, by saying this. So, yes, there are demographics of brothers who do things, but many of those brothers, and I think the other 2 brothers will tell you, they're low achieving dudes. Low achieving dudes, you women give precedent to. Not all you women, but majority of you women make low producing dudes a factor. Every dude on here who I don't even know, from the baseball, from basketball to baseball to football, will tell you, hey, that's loud, Mr. Kenny. We don't even let low.
What's loud? I just got on. What you talking about?
When you slurp the soda or whatever.
Okay. Carry on, brother. I don't know what you're talking about.
Go ahead, man.
No, you continue. You were talking. I just popped on.
No, I was just suggesting to you that when you were slurping the soda just now, that it was very loud.
Oh, okay. Continue. I'm telling you to continue. I would stop slurping, but continue.
So anyway, in conclusion, man, let me wrap up. In conclusion, there are people who are very apologetic and they're anti-male type of dudes. They're woman first type of dudes. We got those in our community. We let them rock. Then we got dudes who are very son first type of dudes. All right. But we don't sit up here and create the war between the dudes because at the end of the day, the real anti-blacks are trying to put their children in position over our children. Now, when we do get these argumentative, I want to be physical and fight type of dudes, we hear them and shine them to the left because we know, just like every hood knows, those be the main dudes that be ended up in body bags, talking out of turn, blah, blah, blah. If you have something intellectual, defeat it on the intellectual level. But what we have many a times, ladies, is dudes who really are not making personal advancements for our community and let alone our Black children. And that's why our Black children, in my opinion, always have to start over. I'm gonna be quiet and I'm gonna listen.
Yeah, so before I let the men speak, I just want to say I have 3 intellectual men that are ready to talk with you. Ladies, we are going to be quiet for now, but I want to hear what each and every one of them has to say. I do want to keep it respectful, including Mr. Research, because I let Kenny on, who is actually my cousin. Oh, I have another cousin coming on. This is Kanara's cousin. We are going to be quiet for now, but I want to hear what each and every one of them has. Let me mute them. But we're gonna keep it respectful. I'm gonna have the men talk, and I actually want to start with Bert first. He was here first. Then we'll go to Kanar, Kenny, and Andre.
Yeah, I had a question. When you was talking about the brother that was on the job that wasn't about nothing and didn't want to do nothing, how old was he?
No, so I've lived in several different states. I've traveled quite a bit.
Kenny and Andre.
And so there is no one anecdotal brother. What I'm suggesting is the theory of the guy who just wants to exist at a job rather than grab power and elevate his black image for the sake of other people coming behind him or for the sake of his own children. Many a times who just wants to exist. Many a times you have these children from other cultures, they get pulled in on an internship for the weekend at the job that daddy and mom works at. They get pulled in and they get indoctrinated with the terminology. So by the time they even get to college, their resume is halfway in. Our children have to start over. So that one particular dude sometimes is the dude really holding up a spot, but he ain't really elevating the cause. He don't have to, but it becomes a detriment. What are your thoughts?
Well, this is what I believe. All right, yeah, we do have some of that in our culture, but a lot of times we got to factor in some other things as well. We got to factor in how they were raised, what they were exposed to, what's their level as far as with education wise. I mean, sometimes it could be to a point where we do have some folks that just settle just for being where they're at. Now, was this brother complaining that somebody else was leapfrogging him or anything like that, or he was just cool where he was at?
So I counsel a bunch of dudes. So I got real popular on this YouTube streets. So a lot of dudes do complain, and I try to tell them the complaint was really with you and you just settled, kind of like to your word, to your verbiage. You just tried to exist. That ain't how these other cultures are rocking. And so what I'm saying for everybody on the panel, when I say these things, they sound strange only because I've been internationally indoctrinated. They're thinking of that out the gate. This is why they send their children to the border with a backpack. This is why they make some of the moves they make, because they're looking at it from the standpoint, once I get one in, I can get 32 in. So my point as it relates to brothers and what Candace was saying, sometimes, brother, we don't have certain time for wars amongst men like colorism and all these other things that our ladies would want us to participate in, because we dealing with levels of the game that are way superior to that. And lastly, I mentioned to Candace about the EEOC. The EEOC for the past 50 years is black male dominated. We have the most complaints, the most blocked applications. How is that when we got our sisters as managers, our sisters as the most educated, they in these lanes? Surely they looking out for their brothers, but guess what? Some of our brothers ain't looking out for our brothers. But now that the Pakistani is here, within 8 years, he's dominating. Go ahead, sir.
You muted, Bert. Let me unmute you. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, there is a lack in our community as far as on that front. And that's just something that's a conversation that we all have to have as men, especially what we have to pass down to our young men as well. And that's why I was saying to you, as far as with the gentleman or what you were talking about, as far as I'm sorry about that. Yeah, there is a lack in our community and not being a supervisor or not wanting to go for that. You know, I was taught differently. You know, I was raised differently. You know, so I had a lot of what you would call black men who were warriors. They were in my family, so they taught me, and they taught me how to be. They taught me how to look at, not feel subservient to a white man. or to anybody that's not Black, and to stand up on your own too, but also be educated as well. So that's why I was saying a lot of times it's lack of knowledge and lack of education. What you're saying isn't foreign. You know, it's just that some folks might not want to hear that because there's other excuses that are in there that they're trying to make. But at the end of the day, that's a conversation that we as men and with some of our young men that we have to have. And a lot of us have to take up that mantle and push that on some of our young folks. You know what I'm saying? Because there definitely is a drop off, especially what I've seen in other ethnicities. Yeah, they make sure that they get through. With us, yeah, we do have a crab in the barrel mentality sometimes. Not the majority, but some of us do.
Let me just answer this quick question. DJ Sutton said, what do you do, bro? So I work in medical finance. I'm from the hood. I stopped going to college because I realized my certifications were more powerful. I paid like $100 for one, $300 for another, $3,000 for another one. Now my certifications are so powerful they can't tell me nothing. I risked my job before COVID to get 12 Black men hired in the system. They don't work with me. I'm the only Black man at my hospital up where I'm at. So when you asking me what I do, I go volunteer for, I'm out here in the Bay now, but I volunteer for Big Brothers of San Francisco. When I'm back in Atlanta, I volunteer for First Time Fathers, which is dudes who got women pregnant the first time, don't know the level of the game with the court. And I volunteer for Family First. Now, DJ Sullivan, now that I said all that, it wasn't bragging, but now ask yourself, why did you even ask a brother like that? What are you doing, Mr. DJ Sullivan? Go ahead, gentlemen.
I'm listening, man. I'm listening.
Anybody next up?
Go ahead, Kennard. Go ahead, fam. I'm gonna let you take this one.
I want to grow by listening. So, you know, if anybody disagrees, I get it. But, you know, my whole thing is our women need to see the image of Black males in better positions than what we are.
Go ahead, Kennard. Go ahead,
the reality is, as I'm seeing it, other countries, so by 2025, if disagrees, I get it, but you know, my whole thing is our homelessness is out the roof right now. In better positions than what we are. Go ahead,
somebody, we getting feedback. We're getting feedback big time.
2025, so somebody got their volume real loud on the laptop. Can you please turn it down? Somebody got their volume real loud on the laptop. Can you please turn it down? You got a 3-second delay.
Kennard is muted.
Yeah. So that's what I was chopping it up with the ladies on. It's that, and here's another thing you guys missed. I was chopping up with Candace and ladies on. We got so many boys out here pretending to be men because the women are sitting, not these women here, but the women are calling some of these dudes men, and they ain't even got no track record. They ain't even done nothing.
All right, so Kenny, we want you to chime in. You know, we have Mr. Research.
Yeah. My name is
go ahead and chime in for the next portion of the video.
I just felt okay. You know, I'm trying to. You know, I'm being respectful to the brother. I'm just trying to figure out where he's coming from. I mean, he's all over the place, and that's fine. The initial conversation, from what I jumped in here in the middle of it, so I'm still trying to catch up. But my thing is, he was delivering a PSA about all he's done and what he does. No, wait. Let me finish. I mean, I just feel like you just giving a PSA of what are you doing and what you've done and what this is that and this and that. I'm just trying to figure out the initial conversation was. I think we were trying to find a common ground. Like I said, I just jumped in the middle of it. What was your issue with the conversation that was being had before you jumped in?
So I was answering DJ Sullivan's question. I wasn't just doing a PSA. I was trying to answer the brother's question in the chat room. Sorry you felt like it was a PSA, but that's all I was doing.
Okay. But it did feel like a PSA. But I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what were you prior to that? What was your reasoning for jumping into the conversation with the ladies? When you wanted to jump in, what was your issue with their conversation?
So the energy has changed. Let me say this. I don't know what you're seeking, Mr. Kenny. So I will answer your question in this way. We were talking about elitist, and I was saying of a different definition of elitist. What do you say about elitist, Mr. Kenny? That way you don't make it about a me thing and you disapproving of me.
I was see you defensive. I wasn't making it a defensive thing about you, and I wasn't disapproving. I was just trying to get an understanding of the conversation prior to me getting on about the elitists. What was the elitist conversation that you had an issue with the ladies having? That's all. I just want to get an understanding. I'm just listening so I can chime in.
All right, so I've been doing this for a while, holding conversations amongst Black folks. I don't know what you're searching for. I will try to answer it again. I had a different definition, aside from Candace, of what elitist is. And I'll give you a brief of what that is, because it seems like you're seeking for something different. But I'll give you a brief of what that is. Elitist people now are different from Booker T. Washington. Elitist people now are the ones paying for these colleges. They sitting up here putting these dowries and donations out here so that other Black folks can get live. Now, a lot of times the people who are critiquing that are not contributing at all. Again, for the second time, I asked Mr. Kenny, what do you say about elitist?
I think, I mean, it depends on where you're coming from with that. I mean, elitists can be defined in totally different ways. As far as Black elitists, you're right. It can be viewed as that what you just defined, but it also could be looked at as a totally different vehicle. But I just was trying to figure out what was your issue though with that whole conversation. That's all. That's all it was. Nothing. I wasn't trying to antagonize you, brother. I just wanted to get an understanding. That's all.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Hona. Go ahead, Hana. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this, and I know this is Candace's show, but we be respectful of these Black men that's on here every week and who gives their opinion, such as Kenny, Bert, and Kennard. And I'm not trying to be rude and disrespectful, but I feel like you're being very defensive and very disrespectful to these Black men on here. I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm not done.
Now he wanted to leave. It got too hot.
Okay. Oh, because you know I was going there.
Yeah. He couldn't take the heat.
I feel as though we all were on here trying to find a common ground. And I don't want anybody to be disrespectful for another man's or woman's opinion when we're actually on here trying to find a common ground as Black people together.
Exactly.
So if you feel as though you have to bail out of a conversation, if somebody feels as though you're being disrespectful, then it is what it is at this point.
And can I say this, Mr. Research, you're proud of your Blackness, but your picture don't look like you. He's back. He's back. Okay, come back.
I just want to listen.
Can I continue what I was saying then?
Can I say this, Mr. Research? You're proud of your Blackness.
Okay, so I'll continue. Now that you're back, I'll continue what I'm saying. We're all on this panel trying to find a common ground as all Black people. So I feel as though we should be respectful. Even if Kenny came on drinking a drink, that just takes away that little snipe comment will take away from what we're trying to establish today. We're not trying to talk about any small things. We're trying to find common ground as we all Black on here, correct?
All day, every day.
Okay. Different shades, but we all Black. So us as Black people, we're trying to find a common ground and togetherness without trying to come at other different Black people or be disrespectful. So I feel like we all need to just probably mute ourselves until the person is speaking, and we can just have respect and not make little small snipe comments about anything that you don't agree with.
Yes. Can I want Andre to speak. I'm about to mute us all, but he hasn't gotten to talk at all. So Andre, what are your thoughts on everything? Andre? Andre, can you hear us?
Good afternoon, cuz. How you doing? Can y'all hear me? I know I came. Can you hear me? Okay, that's good. I know I came in a little. I can hear y'all. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I know I came in a little late. You hear me? Okay. Okay.
You may need to
I know
mute.
I came in a little late this evening, so I really was, kind of listening to the gentleman over here with the white cap on, Mr. All right. So I'm really trying to catch up on what y'all talking about. So from what I'm hearing now, y'all talking about color, race, your careers, your jobs, and different things, and how it's going about within the community, within ourselves. I'm from Detroit, but I spent most of my younger times in down south with my cousins, so I was pretty much raised the South way. I know I made a comment about women should get to know men and men should get to know women, because like I was hearing one gentleman saying, some people get stuck where they at, and they act like they don't want to leave. But like I said, I'm from Detroit, so I've lived in all different parts of this in Michigan. Originally from the east side. My mother moved us from the east to the west because it was more worse than that. But for school, I might not have the accolades like you guys to put up on your wall, associates, BAs, masters, but I did pick career as a chef. So I found my way of getting out cooking. So I love it. I've opened them up, I've closed them. I'm not really gonna throw that in there because that's not about me. We talking about us as a whole. So like I'm saying, to me, it's like you saying young and old, light skin and dark skin. That reminds me of a poem. As y'all know, Willie Lynch. Dark skin and light skin is young is old. It's still working till today. And so I still talk to him. Maybe out of the few, maybe one to hear you. But regardless of that, in the matter, I look at it as you have to really get to know someone. You have to really go out and see their family, to see how their mothers are or their fathers. That's why I really feel that Black Lives Matter. If I'm not mistakenly, really, I think it's about Black men, how Black men have been taken out of the family. And like you said, if let's say some young men that are, if you're still a predator or you're stalking and you're looking for something, but you're not really looking for love, or you're not really looking for that commitment, or you're not really looking for that family, you're gonna go around and you'll say, okay, bump it, you're a dog, or you're a horse, you're a whoremonger. So, and even with some women, it's the same thing. It may be just money. It may be just you looking for companionship, but you're really not looking for something. So a lot of people in the mindset, to me, is that, or a spirit that I call it, what are your intentions? What are you really looking for? Like I'm saying, if you don't know, or if I don't get mad anymore, because if didn't nobody teach you, then you don't know. So I don't get mad anymore. So I have to step back. Everybody's not a gallon. Everybody's not a gallon. Everybody's not you. So I talk to people like I would like to be talked to. I treat people like I want to be treated. I have manners. I speak to everybody. If you speak to me, you do. If you don't, then hey, I know next time, maybe something on your mind. I don't really feed into it. I keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really there to make no friends. It's just, to me, it's a check, but I work for myself. So I'm not in that field where, like I heard you saying, like, you try to bring some of your friends in. When I get in a position just recently, someone asked me to open up one of the new restaurants down here. $30 an hour ain't bad. I do that for a moment, but I'm gonna bring my friends that I know that older, that's been working real hard in my field, and they $10, $12, $13. Look, you 50 now, 40 something years old. come on down here, make it these $20, 25. I'm gonna pay you $20, $25. I'll make sure you get in here and get out. I don't care what color you is. I didn't work with all. I was in the military for 12 years. So I've worked with all different lives and all different types. I have that military background for as me wise. I've traveled all the world. That's one reason I joined, to travel and to see the world. And like you said, if you say that, I can go to many places, and I was very surprised and shocked where they are. Our cousins that are dark as you, sir, darker with colored eyes. It was surprising and shocking to me. So I never really looked at it as far as kind of light skin and dark skin. Hey, I'm like Baskin Robbins. I don't care what color you is. If you like me.
You know what, to your point, I was in Tingis.
My father told me, those that want to spend time with you, those that don't like you, you will end up spending all your money on. They don't really like you. It's just for what you can do at that time, that moment. So you have to really look and see what the person's intentions are.
Thank
to your point, I was in Tingis, Africa. You got brothers dark as me with jet blue eyes and jet green eyes. So yeah, and I try to tell people about Tingis, Africa.
And speaking of
I
that,
don't really know too much to elaborate on, but color has always been an issue.
all right, exactly. And thank you, Andre. I'm gonna mute you now because I want to talk. So I have two questions for Mr. Research. So the first question is your profile picture. You say you're proud of your color, but your profile picture does not look at you. And DJ just asked, who is that in your profile picture? So I want to know about that.
Absolutely. Let me explain. So as you will see across YouTube, several people do not take this YouTube thing seriously. It's not a money source for us. You got the people who are looking at it to be popular, become a money source, get a fan base. I've had 42,000 subscribers before. I can care less about it. YouTube terminated the thing. I built it back up to 22. They did it again. I work in medical finance. I make money. So I'm not really stressing. I did it for the help for the people. But what I realized is that two things. Human resources can use anything you do on Facebook and YouTube against you. As a Black man, I don't have the protection Black women have in the workforce. I have to be very mindful of how anybody can use anything I say as far as imaging. So I just don't keep a picture of me up like people who put up pictures, icons, and it's just an icon at the end of the day. People put up icons with Smurfs and everything else. So I'm not here to popularize myself necessarily. I've already been popular, and outside of you guys, a lot of folks know me. No disrespect to Ms. Hannah, but the point that she made earlier, I was disrespecting Kenny. No, I thought I was in the middle of speaking and somebody was slurping, and I just addressed that. And I'm not going to harp on that.
Let me say this, not to cut you off. When Kenny was drinking his drink, I brought him on to the show, so he didn't technically know you were speaking. So what I'm not understanding, this is my second question, Mr. Research. You find offense for everything. You're very combative. You are very on the defense. And I don't understand why. We are all a group of Black people trying to speak and trying to make our points, but for some reason you are the victim in everything that we say. And it can't just be all of us when everybody else has something to say, but you're finding a problem with everything everybody else has to say. In the end, you have to look at yourself and say, you might be the problem because you're taking what we're saying and you're criminalizing it and turning yourself into a victim when we're just speaking our opinions on things. So when I brought my cousin on, and yes, I'm going to speak because when you come for him, you come for me. You sent for me. I just brought him on the show. And if you want to shake your head all you want to, sir, this is my platform though. So I want to remind you of that. I'll let you continue your point. I will be respectful, but I wanted to explain that when I brought him on, he didn't realize you were talking. I brought him on in the middle of you talking. So maybe I should have waited to bring him on while he was drinking his drink. Anything else you have to say on that topic?
Look, I love my people. I love my people. And sometimes I think our people, especially when they're friends like you guys are,
it's not friends, it's family. It's family, first of all.
Sometimes when you have a people who are close knit like you are, anything that a guest is trying to say, you're willing to be rude to a guest, disrespectful a guest, check a guest. But then if you go back and look back, the guest has never done nothing disrespectful to you as a panel. He's just taken your spears and your arrows. You can call that victim if you wish, but since I've been on this panel, I haven't did or said anything disrespectful, but you've labeled me as such. You've labeled me a victim. I got five.
Yourself a victim. You called yourself that first.
I never addressed myself.
I'm gonna let him speak, but he called himself a victim. He said we victimized the victim. You said that earlier.
I said victimize the victim, but I am not a victim. I said victimized the victim. We're talking about the action of what happened. Yes, the action of what happened. That's a phrase we use in business. That's the action of what happened. It doesn't mean that I'm a victim. Look, I didn't come here for this. You guys want to, if you want a gotcha moment, if you want to try to, hey, that's why he didn't want the smoke. I'm here to have an intellectual conversation about our people that will help our Black sons who are hurting the most and our Black daughters. Y'all can ridicule me after I get off here, whatever. I came here in love and to be intellectual. I'm not trying to be right. I'm not trying to sit up here and have the women get no dudes to sit up here and fight me. I'm not going to fall into any of that. So I am going to sit up here and put my head down and just be patient because we're here for a conversation. Back to what I was saying. When Ms. Hona said that I was being disrespectful to Kenny, I wasn't disrespectful to Kenny. I was speaking and the brother was slurping. And all I tried to do was point out was that it was very loud on my end, the same way I point out to Mr. Andre that he had an echo, trying to pit me and Kenny against each other, saying, I think you was disrespectful to Kenny. I'm y'all guest. When y'all come over to my panel, I'm gonna forget all this. I'm gonna treat y'all with such stellar respect. I'm gonna treat y'all. I don't do stuff like this. Try to antagonize a person who's just trying to speak, even if they disagree. And I think respectfully, if you guys were to look at this a month from now, you would say, you know what? I didn't like Mr. Research. Mr. Research sounds snide, but he never really truly disrespected nobody, and we just kept shooting stuff at him, and he didn't take the bait. He put his head down, and we said something about that. Can we start over and just have a conversation where y'all not trying to get a gotcha moment? You're not talking about a picture. Let's talk about intellectualism, helping our boys and our daughters. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, man. It's crazy what's happening right now.
I'll say this. I'm not sure who wanted a gotcha moment, but I wasn't saying that. I was saying what I said in the beginning of the show. Let's all be respectful as a unit of Black people. And I was just saying, even though you brung that out, it was taking away from what we're trying to accomplish today. So it wasn't about a gotcha moment. I was just pointing out that little comment was taking away what we want to give out to other people. So it's not about a gotcha moment or being disrespectful or talk down to you or any type of way that you're feeling. I was just insinuating that, and I'm going to address this. I'm going to rewind back to something as well. It was no type of disrespect towards you or anybody else on this panel. All I said was let's be respectful to everyone on this panel, and let's show other people the respect that we show for each other. That's one. My second point is no one, not one man that's on this panel that has been on this panel since the candy shop. Candace has open her platform to all of us to be able to come on, ever tried to come on and jump someone. She asks can other people come on because she does have something called the Lion's Den and the Candy Shop, and if you're subscribed, you would see that. So these gentlemen has been on this show to give us knowledge and understanding from a male's point of view. So it wasn't like a jumping or whatever. No one's trying to do that. We're just trying to do what we do every Friday as on Candace's platform, and it's express ourselves as people. So no one's trying to come at you and be disrespectful. I was actually saying let's respect everyone, and that's all I have to say.
So moving on back to the topic, I just want to say simply this. Look, as brothers, we don't have time for a lot of the colorism because we got bigger wars. A lot of times we don't have the time to try to cure a brother from like I came in and say I like dark skinned women. I can't sit up here and fix that because we brothers have bigger scenarios. If we do fix it, next will be featureism, next will be hairism. As I said before the brothers came, we didn't invent these terms like mammy and pick me. That's something you ladies got to fix amongst yourself. These are wars we cannot participate in because we got bigger issues. The black male image, I said before the brothers came in, is so low on a grand scale that all we're really doing is existing in our own worlds. But our sons and our daughters come behind us, and even some of these Africans come behind us, and they're not able to get any of their power. They become workers. They become, because we are not pushing ourselves forward as leading others. Shout out to Chef. He made a great point, though. He hires many other people so they see him in a leader role, regardless of who they are. Excellent. That's what we need more of. But my point was that many of the battles that our ladies want us to fight, we cannot participate in those things at the level you want us to participate in because our situations many times are greater. But go ahead.
Let me say this. So with the colorism thing, with you liking dark-skinned women, that's your preference. I don't feel disrespected at the fact that you like dark-skinned women. When we talk about colorism, we're talking about it as an issue that affects us as a community. We mentioned earlier, though, that black men don't necessarily deal with that. I'm not asking you to fight with colorism. All I did was want to talk about it and put it on my platform. Now,
what does deal with it mean? Just so I can have a better understanding. What does black men don't deal with it? What do you want us to?
Black men don't acknowledge it. You said you have a bigger fight to fight. So you're not acknowledging, you didn't acknowledge that there was colorism. You said that you have bigger things to fight about. But that's something that we deal with in our community. And so as my platform, my platform is about uplifting black women, that's something that we deal with every day as a black woman. Now, y'all may deal with in, say, the corporate world. I hear a lot of black men say that they don't get promoted because white men feel threatened and they will uplift a black woman. That's an issue that y'all deal with. So colorism is an issue that we deal with. And me being a woman, that's what I want to talk about on my platform. But it doesn't dismiss or negate what you go through, if you see what I'm trying to say. So now with DJ's comment, DJ said that you, Mr. Research, came for everyone. You showed no love, bro. And he asked, why were you so combative? And I can agree.
Here we go again. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. You know what? Let's move forward. We are black people in this moment to talk about something more greater than what DJ. That is DJ's third attempt at a shot. Okay, so come on, man. Let's go, man. Let's talk about something better than what DJ talked about.
I think the long and the short of it is this. Each gender in the black community, we do have our own personal wars. We are looked upon in different ways. Okay. But the one thing that I know about is that you still need that support from the other side, regardless. Whether it's our fight to fight or whether it's not our battle to fight, it doesn't make a difference. At the end of the day, we just got to support each other. All this stuff about, well, men, you know, we go through a whole lot more, or if women go through a whole lot more. I mean, that's par for the course. As black people, we go through a whole lot more, period. When we step foot outside this door, we black. And we looked at as such. So at the end of the day, we just need to all just relax, come together, talk it out. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's no underlying narrative or anything that you're trying to bring to the table, let's just talk about it, support one another, hear each other out. That's the thing. Hear each other. We need to hear each other. And then we can start to understand each other. Then we can support each other. And then we'll be a lot more of a stronger force as we move forward outside of our homes. But as long as we're doing this bickering back and forth about women, men, this, that, and the third, this thing has been, I said this the other week, this is so deep rooted. Even from slavery time, from Jim Crow, all of that. This is so deep. This is so deep that it's even affecting us now in 2021. 2021, we're still talking about colorism. 2021, we're still figuring out whether it's light skin or dark skin. And they're writing our narrative. We have to start turning that around, and the conversation has to start being, we have to start writing our own narrative. Stop letting everybody else write our story or trigger us or have us thinking in a different way. Because this is what they want. Now, what happens when we come together? We're the strongest force out there. Nobody can stop us. But as soon as we get back to the normalcy, then we're back at each other's throat again. So we got to figure out a way. And that's, of course, that's through communication, through listening, actively listening and understanding, and trying to work this out so we can be better, not only for us as adults, but as for our kids. We're their example now. They're looking to us, and we got to show them better.
Thank you, Bert. I want to go to some final thoughts. So I'll start with you, Kenny.
You're muted.
You're muted. Kenny, you're muted.
I'm not gonna say a whole lot. I think Bert said a whole what I wanted to say. My man, he left. I don't know why he left, but my thing is this. I think we got to learn how to listen to understand rather than listen to respond all the time. And sometimes the thing that you hear may not be something you want to agree with, but listen to understand rather than listen to respond. This whole thing we came on here, I wasn't coming on here to be combative with this brother. I don't know you, but I was coming on here to get an understanding of where you're trying to come from. So instead of always being on the defense, sometimes, man, just all of us, black men and black women, listen to understand rather than listen to respond. That's my whole thing. And I'm going to keep it funky right here, too. If you come for my family, I'm coming for you. So I'm going to keep that real, too. So it is what it is. That's it for me.
Thank you, Kenny. Andre, do you have some final thoughts you want to share?
I think he has a 4-second delay.
First and foremost, that's Kenny. So you family then, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, always meet somebody new. Am I? I don't know what it is, but how you doing, fam? You know, look me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like that. We'll sit down and talk. But in the whole thing in a nutshell, I don't even know why my man kept going back and forth with it. Excuse me, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be real. Only women do that. Only women do that. I'm gonna be real. Yeah, buddy. Only women do that, bro. Only women do that. Only. But anyway, I love everybody. I never had any problem with what color shade you is. Like I said, if you like me, I like you. If you want to spend time with me, I'm gonna spend time with you. And we all know the red flags. It's gonna be holding 10-yard penalties, put you on the bench. You might not play when you're playing. But most of y'all are married. My cousin's married. Hannah, she's married. I don't know if Siobhan, are you married, young lady?
She muted. She muted. We can't hear
I just asked. I know pretty much most of y'all are married on here. Y'all got married.
Oh, she married. Okay.
And I'm not. I'm still looking. But yeah, I'm not on the prey. Oh, unmute her.
Oh no, I'm not married.
I sit back and I look down there. So
Yeah,
I just ask how you was raised. And
around, Mr. Andre.
You know how you was raised, man. For real though. It's your manner. And I know how the gentleman right there, the young man with all the alcohol. What's his name? Mr. Who?
Look, check this out. Check this out. Let me say this to you, Andre, before
what's
you
his
leave.
name? With the hat. I'm gonna just say the dude with the white hat.
Yeah. Mr. Research. Mr. Research. You got a 4-second delay. I'm gonna wait.
What's his name? Mr. Who? Look, check this out. Let me say this to you. What's his name? With the hat. I'm gonna say the dude with the white hat. Mr. Research. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, Mr. Research. Have you read the poem Willie Lynch though?
Yes, I have. So now that I answered your question, let me say this about your comment. Only women do that. Look, check this out. I understand field slaves like to sit up here and make these little comments because all we can do is be physical and insult each other.
Sir.
A person who is a who is a
Okay, so-
man.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm sorry. I had to remove him.
Don't do
I'm
that.
sorry,
Don't
I
do
thought I
that.
was muted. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Yeah.
Don't
So
don't
I'm
do
gonna
that.
let him back
sorry.
on.
I
But
thought I was
please,
muted. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let you back on. But let me say this: we're not gonna call each other field slaves. We're not gonna
We're
call.
not gonna call each other women. Don't have nobody say only women do that. Let's stop that, man. Come on, don't. You know what? Look. Let's not pick and choose how we
He
get
said,
down.
hold on. What did he say?
Let's
Feel
not pick and
nigga.
choose how we get down. Okay.
Buddy.
Look, check this out. You didn't need to go there. You didn't. And this is why I said you
No.
guys are family. You guys are friends.
Only women do that.
No,
And that's the real.
To you, Andre, because women,
Only
because
women do that, bro.
You're not used to a man speaking up and saying something in a polite manner.
You was
All
looking
you
for
wanna
some
do-
reassurance.
All you came to do is just insult. Okay, bro. It ain't no
You
bad
was looking
thing.
for
'Cause
some reassurance. That's all.
I'm gonna show my fans all this.
Right now, what you're trying to do is show your masculinity.
No. I understand. I'm
That's
talking to
all.
a
You're trying to
field
show
hand.
your masculinity
I
now, right
understand I'm
now.
talking
But
to a field hand. You good.
I mean,
You
we are
started.
omegas.
You started. But
We
you know
all
what?
kings.
I would never
We
do
all
that in the
kings.
face of the internet.
I'm a king.
I would never pop that. Anyway,
I'm a king.
you know,
I'm a god.
so
Okay,
I want to
I'm
thank
a
you
god.
guys for having me. I did not
I'm a
run
king.
from it. I just really came here to have a conversation, but I see some of your family members.
So what I'm saying is,
insults.
for you could throw. I
They
mean,
really
I don't
want-
take
Shout out to
insults
that
or
brother
anything personally. You know what I'm saying?
Burgundy.
Because if anybody was a
Shout out to
field
you,
nigga, your
you
black
are
ass was one. Oh,
outstanding.
excuse me.
And even Kenny, what Kenny
Excuse
said
me.
in the
You was a
end,
field nigga
you know
because you was
what,
the
Kenny?
darkest motherfucker up in here. Excuse
Shout
me.
out to you
Because
too
one
as
thing
well,
about,
sir.
excuse me if I
That
curse
was a
though, because
very
most
good
people that curse
comment
is telling the truth.
that you
You the
dropped as
darkest
well.
one on here. You would have been a
Okay,
field nigga. You just one of them field niggas that learn how to
quite
read,
sure they will
and it
give
don't
you.
matter how you look at it. What they say.
okay, I'm a
I'm
mute
quite
the
sure they'll
phone.
give you a toy to play with after this for what
They
you've
gonna
done.
call you a field nigga with a.
I'm sorry. It got heated.
Whoa.
So I may bring them back. But yeah, this was a lot. I want everybody's final thoughts. I'm gonna bring them back. I'm gonna mute them first. Okay, so I brought y'all back. Y'all are muted. I want final thoughts. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. I'll say this, whatever you have to say about someone's opinion, wait till it's your turn for the final thoughts. I'm gonna say that. So, and Andre is delayed. Andre, he's still talking. I'm gonna go, Andre. Okay, I'm gonna go to Siobhan. Siobhan, man, young lady, your young ma'am, what are your thoughts?
Wow, so tonight was wow. And I do feel that you may have
Don't mute
been.
me. I'm just saying, you know.
Oh.
I mean,
Andre,
don't mute me.
Okay, just I'm muting everybody. So go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, so ladies night kind of morphed into something really rather interesting tonight. But I appreciated everyone's point of view. I do feel that some of us were, maybe sensitive to things that, maybe should not have been, weren't intentionally to be taken so personally. It was before, more lighthearted and, good vibes. I'm not saying it's bad vibes, but things took a turn for the serious, and nothing is wrong with that per se. But I just want to say I appreciated everyone's point of view. And at the end of the day, these are real issues. real concerns, whether we choose to acknowledge them or not, as meaning colorism or, elitist, Black elitist, or womanism or feminism. All of these are real concerns, real issues. And I hope that we left with at least a respect for other people's perspectives on things. But I definitely feel that some things were taken more seriously than they should have been, because at the end of the day, I feel like all of us have good intentions with the points of view that we're trying to get across. And I hope that being given the space and the platform to speak and give your opinion lets you know that at the end of the day, we do respect what you had to say. Doesn't mean that we all agree, but at least we have a general respect. And that's all I have to say right now. So thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much, Siobhan. Thank you.
I'm gonna let Hannah speak, and then I'm gonna go to you last, Mr. Research, and then I'll say the very last word. But Hannah.
I'm trying to get myself together because that Phil slave thing threw me off. But I'm gonna get myself together and recoup. I respect everyone's platform, everyone that had something to say tonight. I thought that we were all going to agree, but we don't have to all agree to get our opinions across. Like I said before, we all have different experiences and we all learn differently. We all saw different things. We're not from the same city. So each city, even though we're all Black people, each Black person in their city has a different culture for that Black person in their city. So we have to respect that. I'm trying to get over the other comment because I'm livid right now. And I will be 100% honest. I'm very livid. And I respect your show, Candace. I thank you for inviting us on every week. I would appreciate, though, next time that we aren't calling each other derogatory terms, because we have to hear that from the other people. And if we're on here trying to uplift each other and saying that other people are coming against us, the last thing we need to do is come against each other. Okay, people say stuff, you might get offended, upset, but that does not mean go for the jugular. It does not mean be disrespectful. Like I said, I respect each person that came on here tonight. I feel like we all had great views. We just reached them a different way. So as long as we can remain respectful and realize that we aren't in a fight against each other, we're in that same fight together against the others. I don't know if y'all saw the series Them, but y'all need to watch it. Because at this point, we need to be together and not let us separate each other because we have that fight outside. So I just hopefully by this time next year, I know it's a far-fetched, we can come together and not separate within our race and have this discussion again. And we're not separate. We're actually on the same page.
Thank you, Hannah. Mr. Research, I know you turned your camera off, but I want your final thought.
Hey, shout out to Siobhan. That was very elegant. Shout out to you. The gentleman in the burgundy, I can't say enough about your words. Those that was worth everything. And actually some of the things Candace said as well earlier, before you gentlemen arrived. That was worth everything to even show up. I don't come over here to try to antagonize. Again, the show we do, we have men and women. And I moderate, and we never have this type of stuff. So part of me shaking my head or putting my head down was because I only go to other platforms in order to have conversations on my theory and how it meshes with other people. I can learn. Kenny said an elegant thing on his last comment. That's how you grow. But what I don't try to do, and even amongst men on the other side, is insults, all this type of stuff. Because look, that's the protection of the internet talk. Everybody from the streets know we ain't supposed to be popping at each other like that. Pop at each other, catch a flight, man. Don't. We don't do that stuff from the safety of the internet. And what's so unfortunate sometimes, as a person who's not one of y'all, this is sometimes why we don't come over, why we stay away, because this is y'all group. It's better for me not to even say nothing, because all I'm gonna do is have drama. We got to be more inviting, even if you think I'm just supposed to accept insults and not say nothing back, which is what I'm trying to share with y'all. Nobody's going to just take insults and not say nothing back. Come on now. Especially when I haven't insulted none of y'all once. Okay. I mean, so that's the crazy thing. Shout out to also Kenny for the 4th time. Like he said, everybody got to speak, man, even if you disagree. If you notice, I had something with Kenny, but I didn't speak on it. I said, well, it just seems like, we worked it out. He said what he said. He felt how he felt. And if I leave, he may feel something else. But in that moment, I didn't say nothing out of turn about the guy. And that's the way we're supposed to do it, per his comments, what he said. We're supposed to be able to do that, because if we can't, what we'll realize as Black people, we're all going to need each other in some type of way when we don't even realize it. The Pakistani supremacy is coming, and Latin supremacy is right around the corner, and we all going to see it before we die. It ain't going to be no more white supremacy. It's going to be Latin supremacy and Indian supremacy, especially when the owner of Google takes Silicon Valley back over to India, because he already runs Google. So look, that's my final thoughts. I love you guys. I'll listen to you. However y'all feel is how y'all feel. But thank you for allowing me to speak or be heard, and thank you for giving me some growth too. Unfortunately, Mr. Andre, I didn't want stuff to go that way. I had a lot of respect for you when you were saying the thing. I just don't feel we should make woman comments, man, on the internet. Come on, bro. Don't do that, man. Challenge what I'm saying. Don't make personal insults, man. I'm out of here, you guys. Salute.
All right. So I want to thank everybody for coming on. It was very interesting to have Mr. Oh, and I see Andre saying something. It was very interesting to have Mr. Research on. We just know that this conversation between Black folks is going to be controversial. We're all different. We all have different ideas of what our struggle is. And until we can come together and agree upon something, we're going to have disagreements, and that's okay. And that's what we need to be okay with, the fact that it's going to be different. The guy did offend a couple of people with saying field Negro. So it was offensive. I just hope that
that was definitely offensive.
Yeah. I hope that he just grows from that. I don't think he expected to have these men come on the show, because he thought it was going to be a show where he can talk down to us women and say whatever, and that was going to be it. But no, it's a family over here, and it's nothing against him. We're all family. If he wants to come on and voice his opinion again, that's fine. But be open to people not agreeing with what you have to say. That's the main thing. So that's all I have to say. Andre, you cracked me up the whole time on this show.
Andre went in. Dre went in, boy.
Yes.
God
thank y'all for joining me. Andre, did you have one last thing you wanted to add?
Going back to the house.
Cause I mean, I'm one. If you do not want to snap with me, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, you about one of the darkest motherfuckers up in this bitch.
I know, but
you one of the darkest niggas up in here.
Thank y'all for joining.